Hi everyone! Welcome to Red Fox Sewing and Crafting, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Joanna. So today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little album. We have pocket on the front cover and the back cover, and we have 3 pages using the same scoring method, and then a little pocket page at the back. This is a little simple page. So let's get started. I already made the cover for this album. I will put the measurements down below in the description, and also the link to my album cover tutorial. To make this album, you'll need 3 pieces that are 9 3/4 by 12, 1 piece that is 4 3/4 by 8.5, and 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 4 3/8. Let's do the front and back covers really quick. You will need to cover your inside with pattern paper before you start adding the pockets and the pages. And you will need 2 pieces of pattern paper that are 2 inches by 4 3/8. So this is really simple. You want to take your glue, and we're going to add a little bit to the cardstock piece, and you want to kind of go like halfway down and to the side. You don't want to put glue along the whole piece. And then on your pattern piece, you want to add glue to the edge of one side like this. And then to make it easier, I'm going to put this to the edge of my scoreboard and then line my pattern paper up to the 1/8 inch mark on my mat, so that I have an 1/8 inch of my white cardstock showing. I'm going to do that again with my other piece. And then since it's directional, I'm going to go on the other side. Put my cardstock on the edge of my mat and line up my pattern paper an 1/8 inch away from the edge of my cardstock, just like this. So now we have 2 pieces that have cardstock on the edge. So now we're going to grab our album cover, and they're going to go just like this, okay? So I'm gonna add glue to the edge, just like this, and then just align it with the pattern paper on your cover. And you kind of want to be careful to make sure that you don't go too in. Then I'm going to stick this one to the other side. Now we can put this off to the side for now. Shit, I don't think. No, it's not. Oh wait, doesn't matter. Because if I cut this down to a 4-inch, I could just cut it in half. Duh. And this is 2. There we go. That's better. And then I want these 2. So I did forget to say add this to the beginning of the video, but you will also need 2 pieces of cardstock, or well, you don't have to have them, but if you want to add these in, you'll need 2 pieces that are 6 by 4. And then I cut out 2 of my 4 by 6 pieces, cut aparts from the paper collection I'm using, and I cut them both down to 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I'm just going to glue these on, and they'll have an 1/8 inch around the edges. Just like this, okay? And then these can go in the pockets. Might be a little finicky at first, but once you get them in, they'll go in really easily. So now I'm going to do my second one. So we're going to start with our 4 3/4 by 8 1/2 inch piece. This one's going to be really easy and straightforward. So we're going to start with the 4 3/4 at the top. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And at 3/4, and then you want to flip it around with the 8 1/2 at the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 4 1/2. So now we need to cut out these 2 rectangles and these 2 rectangles, okay? And you can use scissors, you can use a X-Acto knife, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm going to cut these out really quick and then show you the next step. So once you have cut out the 4 rectangles, it should look like this. And when you do cut them out, you want to make sure that you cut out the score marks along with the rectangles. Now we are going to take our scissors and we're just going to miter this tab. Just like that. Now we just want to fold and burnish on all of our score marks. Okay, and now we can make our page. Actually, this needs to be folded. If you need to, you can kind of play around with it to get it how you want it to be. I might end up having to glue this together and then refolding it. I'm going to add some score tape here, some double-sided adhesive, right to my tab here, and then glue my tab to my other side. Just like so. And then I can push it down, kind of fold it along the edge. And then we also need to, just forgot, we need to glue this edge closed. And it might be better to add glue before you close it. So that it's a little easier to put the glue on. And I cut one of the 4x4 cut aparts from this collection, and I just cut it down to 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. If you want, you can just use pattern paper, but it's always fun to use cut aparts. So this page is done. We can set this off to the side and work on our 3 other pages. They are going to be scored the same exact way, but we are going to be cutting and folding them in different ways. So we're going to start with the 9 3/4 at the top, and we're going to score it 1/2 inch, 3/4 and 6 3/4. Now we're going to rotate it with the 12 inches at the top, and we're going to score at 4 inches and at 8 inches. Okay. So again, we're going to start with the 9 3/4 at the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 6 3/4. Rotate it so that the 12 inches is at the top, and score at 4 and at 8. And one more page. I'm going to score one more time at 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 6 3/4 with the 9 3/4 at the top, and then we're going to rotate it so that the 12 inches is at the top, and we're going to score this at 4 and at 8. So let's get started with page 1. And this is how we scored it. Okay, so our hinge is on this side, and then the 3-inch 3x4 sections are on this side. I cut out the so this is how page 1 is done. Our hinges are on this side, and then the 3x4 sections are on this side. I scored the outer 2 score marks. I cut them out. On the bottom here, I just cut out the larger outer rectangle, and then I mitered this rectangle. And then on the top here, both rectangles are cut out. So we are going to fold and burnish all of the score marks. And the reason why these are already folded is because when I cut out the score marks, I folded these back and then trimmed them along the edge of my scores right here. So to put page 1 together, we are going to first add glue to our small tab and to the outer edge of this section. And we're going to lay this down like so. And you want to make sure that everything is glued down really well. Next, we're going to fold the other 6x4 section on top, just like this. And we can flip this over, fold this the other way, and then I put the top section down and then the bottom section up, just like that. And to keep this closed, I used a set of magnets. I'm going to put one magnet on the front, and then the other magnet will go on the base page. Just like that. Okay. Page 1 is done. We can set that off to the side and work on page 2. Again, our hinge is on the left. Our 3x4 sections are on the right. I cut out the top 2 3x4 sections. The bottom 2 rectangles on the hinge side are cut out. On the top, only the larger outer rectangle is cut out, and then I mitered the smaller rectangle. So we're going to fold and burnish again on our score marks. And again, we are going to make the base page with the side pocket. So glue on our small tab and then on the outer edge, just like this. Stick it down, burnish it really good to make sure that everything sticks. And then we're going to fold this up, like so. And burnish, and then this goes like, 1 second here. So we're going to reverse that. You want the flap to go, you want it to go up, just like this, okay? And then this section goes on top, like so. Going to add a magnet to close our flap. just like this. And then now we need to add pattern paper to the outside of our flap. Because what's going to happen is we're going to glue this down to make a pocket. So I'm going to take this and glue it on. The front of my flap here. Sometimes it's easier to open up the flap. And now we can add glue to the two short sides of our 3x4 flap to turn it into a pocket. Page 2 is done. And then we have page 3. Hinges on the left, 3x4s on the right. Cut out the bottom 2 3x4s. The bottom 2 rectangles on this side are cut out. And then on the top, just the outer large rectangle, and then the short rectangle I mitered. And then again, we are going to fold and burnish on all of our score marks. And if you need to go back or pause because I'm a little fast for you, you can always just rewind the video or pause it to look at how the pages are cut and folded. So with this one, we are going to fold this one over like that, and then this one is going to get folded backwards, and then our little tab is going to get folded backwards like so. Okay, you want to make sure to keep it as straight as possible because it's very small. I'm going to add glue to our tab and glue to the outside edge of the section, and then we can stick it down to make our base page, just like so. So we have our flap here, turn it around, and we need to add pattern paper to our base page. Just like so. And then glue to the two short sides of our 3x4 section. Stick it down to make a pocket. And now all 4 of our pages are made. Okay, now it's time to add them to our album. So I like to use score tape. Helps keep it stuck on while the glue dries. And if you are going to add score tape too, you want to add score tape to the front of the first 3 pages. Like so. And then the back of the last page. So grab out your cover, and our cover is 4.5, pages are 4. So I have a 1/2 inch ruler here. I'm going to line it up with the edge of my pattern paper because that is 2.5 inches, which is the same as our spine. I'm going to take page 1. Add a little bit of glue right on top of my score tape. And you just want to add it to the 1/2 inch tab. You don't want to add anything to the 1/4 inch part because that's your gusset. We're just going to line this up with a 1/4 inch spacing on the top and bottom, just like so. And then we're going to grab the next one. That's going to line up right against the first page, like this. Page 3. Going to line up with the edge of page 2. Just like so. And then you should have I have a little over 1/2 inch, so I'm going to line up my ruler like this. You should have about 1/2 inch spacing on the other side. I'm just going to line up my ruler to give myself 1/2 inch spacing. And then just place the last page right on top of page 3, just like that. And there is your album. I hope you enjoy making this album with me. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more album creations and other things, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!